I'm still alive and Christmas is now just a few days away. And that can mean only one thing: Santa is about to embark on his yearly sleigh ride to deliver gifts to the people of the world. Plenty of people have talked about the logistics of this incredible journey, and slight tangent, but that also includes my supply chain professor. He seemed like a no-nonsense guy at first, but then he talked about Santa Claus as the golden standard for supply chain, and then at Christmas time he showed us all pictures that he had taken with Santa, which honestly was awesome. Okay, tangent over. But today I want to talk a little bit about Mr. Claus's operation. He's managed to keep his workshop up at the North Pole hidden for centuries, but that hasn't stopped plenty of movies from speculating about what it might look like. And today I've gathered a list of 7 movies that show his workshop, and we're going to rank them in order from least impressive to most impressive. Not just on what's realistic, although that will be a part of it, because if you're going to deliver gifts to billions of people, you're going to need a pretty big operation. Also, this list has no bearing on the quality of the movie nor how much I like it. Alright, let's get started.
Number 7, here's number 7, number 7, yeah!
Coming in last place for the workshops we will be ranking today is The Only Castle on the Left from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. A lot of these earlier stop-motion specials are going to have smaller workshops just due to their nature. It couldn't have been too big, but I had to put this one in last because it just wasn't effective. If you've never seen this special, a snowstorm comes through and grounds Santa, and it also does some damage to his castle, which I feel like they should have been a little more ready for given that they were, living at the North Pole. Also, the toy-making area we see is pretty basic, with only a dozen or so elves painting wooden toys. I do enjoy the elf choir, although in the one performance we see, their tenor section is just a little weak. The special is fun, but the workshop, sadly, is not that impressive.
I wish they all could be just like number 6.
Next up, we have another old special. This one is technically 10 years after the last one, but again, the workshop is still pretty limited. Editing Scott here. I just realized I never said the name of this one. It's Year Without a Santa Claus. It is more of a facility than the last one, and there are some more complicated toys as well as stables for the reindeer. It's a bit more expansive, but definitely not perfect. I also wish there could just be the tiniest bit more whimsy at this workshop. However, and this is not really relevant to the point of this video, Heat Miser and Snow Miser are awesome, and their respective homes are really cool as well. It almost makes me wish that some of that silliness had made its way back to the North Pole.
Here's number 5. Here's my 5. Here's number 5.
Alright, now we're moving away from 50-plus-year-old Christmas specials onto a more modern classic. With Elf, one of the most popular Christmas movies ever made. This movie is very funny, however, Santa's workshop feels a little lackluster. It's sort of just a few rooms with one central table for making the toys. I just don't feel like they have the capacity to make the toys for all the people of the world. Except for Etch-a-Sketches, they're definitely good on those. Now, in fairness, Santa's workshop is not really central to the plot, and having a huge, expansive operation wouldn't really have made sense, but that does not matter. Whether or not it would make sense is not the point. We're looking for the best ever representation of Santa's workshop. Moving on.
Wouldn't it be nice if these were funny? Well, I bring to number 4.
And here we arrive at the only movie on this list that I have never seen. I legitimately wanted to try my hardest to find the best depiction of this workshop, and in my research, a movie called Arthur Christmas came up a lot. So I took a look at some clips, and it's kind of hard to rank. Now, from the snippet I saw, this movie seems great and definitely up my alley. But this workshop is not really a workshop. It's like a Star Destroyer-sized spaceship with a cloaking device that has a ton of systems inside for delivering and making presents. It's a very impressive operation, but again, it's not at the North Pole, and it's not really a workshop. It almost doesn't even fit into this category. I didn't want to disqualify it because it's definitely impressive and a very interesting take on Santa's operation, and I can definitely see why so many people suggested it. But since it doesn't really go with any of the others, I've put it squarely in the middle. It's definitely better than Elf, and I think it's the start of some truly incredible workshops. Also, I think this is a good time to say this. If there's any other depictions of Santa's workshop that I missed in this video, comment them below. I'm genuinely trying to find the best one.
3, 3, 3. Number 3.
Okay, and now for our only entry on this list that is not a Christmas movie, Rise of the Guardians. They do spend a lot of time at the North Pole in this movie, although the whole thing takes place at Easter instead of Christmas, which affords us a kind of unique perspective, and it shows us that this operation is working year-round. The whole thing feels very large-scale, whimsical, and silly. And this is also the only workshop to have Yetis. That's right, in this movie, the elves do not make the toys. They're just incompetent little dudes who run around while the Yetis do all the work. Also, this movie probably has the most nuanced depiction of Santa that I've ever seen. In a lot of the other ones, he's just happy and jolly the whole time, but in this one, he's like a warrior protecting children, and then he does get sweet and jolly at some points. Actually, I think he's usually pretty sweet and jolly. I think this movie just caught him at a dark few days. Also, they technically call him Norse instead of Santa, which I think is very fun.
Baby, why don't we go down to number 2? We'll have some laughs and maybe so will you.
And with the second best depiction of Santa's workshop, we have the Santa Claus. And immediately, this whole thing seems like a well-oiled machine without feeling too much like a factory. Also, bonus points because almost all the set work is practical, and this definitely feels like what every child imagines the North Pole to look like. And what really put this movie into second place was this one shot where Scott, great name by the way, looks out the window at the rest of the North Pole. It's shown to be this fantastical, underground, almost futuristic city, which is so cool. Also, I would like to add that this was my brother Nate's vote for first based on this scene. However, I decided to put a different movie first because we don't really get to see the rest of the North Pole outside of this one shot. But that is definitely not true for our winner.
We'll have fun, 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 then again it's going to see number one. Fun, fun, cause we're gonna get to see number one.
And my final pick for the best depiction of Santa's workshop is from the Polar Express. From Tim Allen to Tom Hanks, it's a Toy Story reunion. So yeah, once again, this whole thing is a massive, expansive city. I know that was redundant, but I don't care. There is so much infrastructure built, and we actually get to see the ground floor of this city. Like, the whole third act of this movie is spent at the North Pole, and we get to explore random areas of the city, Star Wars-level chasms, and even pneumatic tubes. For me, this is an easy number one. Also, I very recently learned that some people don't like the Polar Express. I know some people find the animation a little bit off-putting, and while it's never bothered me, I can understand that, but I think the story is great. Also, I don't think any other movie captures that magical feeling of Christmas Eve. Like the exciting anticipation and knowing that Santa's on his way, the whole movie feels like that. And I would honestly say that this is one of my favorite Christmas movies, like right behind Muppet Christmas Carol. Alright, well that is my extremely objective and entirely perfect ranking of Santa's workshop throughout various movies. And while preparing for this, I noticed that a shocking number of Christmas movies do not show Santa's workshop at all. But thank you for watching, and if you get a chance, ride the magic carpet on a rail, and Nate, I'll see you tomorrow.